We're at 1.8% penetration globally as of the end of last year. Most people talk about 15% in 2025. I actually think you're going to see 30 or 35% in 2025. It's a disruptive technology. It's hit a tipping point. And from what we're seeing, the adoption of the electric vehicle is happening at a much more rapid pace than the market understands or anticipates. And so, when we think about where it's all happening, we come to China. China has made an economic and political decision to support the electric vehicle, and they're going to be world leaders. They have an environmental policy that supports cleaning up the air in urban environments. Technologically speaking, they're putting the money into the processes to build the batteries and the automobiles. So for us in our business, you have to be in China. And it's an exciting time to be here. So we're here pretty regularly these days.
And prices are up quite significantly just in the first quarter. Of course, in the last 12 months as well, they're up pretty strongly. I know you don't want to be nailed down on the price, the forecast for the price for Cobalt, but give us a sense of where you think, how much more upside you think prices have to go from here.
Sure. So like the 20-year average is around $24. We're at $42 today. It's seen as high as $58 in the past. From my perspective, we're in a price discovery phase right now. The market is driven completely by consumer demand, not just EVs, though. I remind you that jet engines are booming. I mean, some of this other stuff. So, what I see happening is the market is looking for an incentive price to bring on additional production. And so I think that this year will be important for finding that price. I wouldn't give you a price forecast, but I will tell you that demand is very strong.
Does there come a point when the price is so high that electric vehicle battery makers are incentivized to look for alternatives, to look for alternative technologies because Cobalt is just not cost effective?
I think that's a false narrative. When I look at the lithium-ion battery and when we talk to the automobile makers, definitively the lithium-ion battery is in the automobile for the next decade. The primary chemistry is the NMC chemistry, and we see that evolving from a 532 today to the 622 and on to an 811. And so I don't see any issues in particular because the overall percentage of the MSRP, that is Cobalt, for instance, a couple percent. So you're talking about a few $100s on a $30,000 car. So I think it's a false narrative. Cobalt is a commodity like every other, meaning that the market is just looking for an incentive price to bring units online to meet the new incremental demand.
What are you seeing in terms of the supply picture? Of course, most of it is coming from the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Your supply doesn't come from there. You're one of the biggest suppliers outside the DRC. Overall, what is the supply picture looking like?
Yes, so actually what we're seeing is concentration in the Congo. Today, 65% of Cobalt comes out of the Congo. As RTR and Katanga ramp up, that's a Glencore mine, over the next kind of 2 years, 3 years, we're going to see 65% go to 75%. So actually, if you're going to have Cobalt, you're going to have the Congo. But what we've done is we've gone out and are securing the supply chain outside of the Congo as a value proposition to avoid some of the issues with artisanal mining.